Hi, my friends and family. My name's Trey, and this is my YouTube channel and Odyssey channel, Trey's Myths and Tunes, and my show, Trey's Timeless 15 Minutes of Explain. Today, my talk is called Ketogenesis and Flipping the Script of the Internal Narrative. Question everything that you depend on without thinking till you have the discernment and the gnosis to know exactly what you believe in. You gotta question everything. Question everything. Ketogenesis and flipping the script of the internal narrative. Well, first we have to consider real health and the basic building blocks of real health. Of course, in the internal world, this includes your thoughts, having good thoughts, respectful thoughts, helpful intentions. As I've said, learning to follow your blueprint, being giving, caring for others, creative, and caring for creation and respect. Your physical building blocks of health are fat, essential and saturated fatty acids, proteins, and other amino acids. So obviously, we have around roughly 80 years ago or so, the negative aliens moving in. They're internally attempting to hijack and from within infiltrate. One of the things they did that really made it obvious. One of the first things they did that really made it obvious was the introduction of trans fats. Obviously, the people who ran the multinationals who sold these and manufactured them cared about profit far more than health, or didn't even care about health at all. So we have the introduction of margarine and the beginning of the attempt to hybridize us was this introduction of the trans fats. So and then we have the pharmaceutical drugs around the same time with paperclip coming over to the USA. And imagine the selfishness that it would take that these people who own these corporations would have to in order to obey this idea. So when you think about it, really the Industrial Revolution itself was the negative alien takeover. Okay, for all of those sweatshops, all that suffering. So Klaus Schwab's idea of a fourth industrial revolution is actually a Nazi officer's son who's orchestrated and organized a club of the wealthiest people in the world to try to create a more barbaric AI industrial revolution, which he wrote a book about and was the basis for the lockdown in 2020. So why the food prices have jacked up, why 11 food factories have been destroyed, was all part of their plan. So we're talking about the 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 industrial revolution and the imposition of this fake reptilian kingship or kingship through greed upon the whole planet around 100 years ago was the largest scale alien takeover yet. Although, as I say, 2020 really was the most ambitious version, and well orchestrated planetary takeover, but it didn't work necessarily. So we have chemicals, the corporate Silicon Valley. Locally here, as far as more recent history, beside what happened in 2020, the creation of the wealth in Silicon Valley was the 20th century or 21st century version of the same phenomenon. We had during the dot-com boom, we had some of these fools, brand new wealthy people who made it through the computer business, offering over $200,000 more than asking price for some West Cliff mansions because they wanted to jack up the price of living. This is why showing sexual reassignment surgery on YouTube is not anything weird to these people. Have extremely inverted values. They want to jack up the price of living. So think about that. So statin drugs and the low-fat diet scam was one of the most overtly sick scams the big boys tried to run through their allopathic system. And Dr. David Perlmutter, I believe he actually indirectly destroyed that scam. And again, this is how we peacefully, harmlessly destroy these negative aliens and Illuminati and their Satanist reptilians and their humanoid followers' ability to take over the planet is through, this is one of my goals, so I was really inspired by this man, through peacefully popularizing the truth, the opposite. Okay, so what happened is, I don't even know if they still try to pull these scams or not, but Dr. Perlmutter indirectly toppled the bullshit by popularizing a better, truer way. We must do this internally to flip the scripts of the controllers. As I say, the narcissistic thoughts, I could call them narcissistic parasite entities. And you have to flip those scripts internally. It's the only way. Even refusing openly is to believe, okay? You have to remember the mostly ITAL future. Even in this case, when I hear planes, which may be not even human planes, going back and forth, and then I hear the freezing nano rain dump on me again. And I can tell you, and I can tell the whole world it's happening, because I'm going to get shadow banned, because I'm a guy in a tent who's dependent. I am not going to be listened to, right? Well, you know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I will be listened to, you obedient cowards. Maybe I will be listened to, you obedient cowards who would rather let the ionosphere be destroyed than lose your job. All of you who think I'm a crazy person for talking about weather engineering, you're moral cowards. Okay? Why? Because maybe you deserve to have this planet terraformed by negative aliens who want you to be who are forcing you to, some of you, to be their cyborg slave, because you don't have the courage to even see that it's happening when it's in your face. That's what the atmospheric river is, and that's the reason why all the newscasters use that term, because the dark ones gave them that script. Again, it's all about flipping the script. I knew before I was double digits, probably when I was 9 years old, I could see that most of the stuff in Hollywood was telling me the opposite of the reality of Christ, of Satan or Lucifer's idea. I knew as a little kid it was the opposite, man. It was particularly the 6 o'clock news. I felt that as an intuitive empath, as a small child. Hey, you know what? These people want me to be afraid, huh? This makes me feel sick. Even on the SAD plan, Standard American Diet. So you have to remember the mostly ITAL future begins within your mind and your body habits and discernment and discipline for yourself. Fanaticism and starvation. Vegan is good in theory only. It's like a guilt-based, it's like a Catholic eating style to make you feel afraid and guilty, to get you not to do something. Because like I say, in Dr. Perlmutter's book, The Grain Brain, he proves that your brain needs cholesterol to function properly. So if anybody ever finds an organic source of vegan cholesterol, I'll be the first to become vegan then, man. We need that nutrient. This is why a lot of times vegans are really angry, okay? So But this avocado guy's idea of having no respect and eating all the, you see how much of a hijack their attitude is after that. So our brain cholesterol is a nutrient that our brain in particular needs. Compare this to their narrative about the carbon footprint. I ride a bicycle, but so it's accurate to say it's bad to have a carbon footprint. But since they shut down my gym and I couldn't get hot water, even though the quantity is way less, I'm more internally healthy by flipping the script that I needed the gym or somewhere outside of myself to get hot water, even though it's only a gallon. The purity of the spring water is much higher, even though with nanobots in it now. And so I flipped that script, and it helped me empower. Even though it's only sometimes it doesn't meet my needs. And I should do more. The New Agers' insistence that evil doesn't exist, for example, A Course in Miracles, or most of these New Age cults, is like the vegans' health. Okay, they're nutritionally deficient because they're terrified of their own shadow work and the collective shadow work. They're terrified that maybe what I say and the few other people who will tell you the truth about this, that there's a massive infiltration in nearly every clique and every spiritual religious group. They're terrified of that. So, order followers and shot callers and shot takers all are obeying the external control, and they're all going to have nutrient deficiency as a result. You obey the external control, you're going to be nutrient deficient. That's how it works. They don't want the vegans to reproduce. They don't want people to understand what real nutrition for the body or the soul actually is, man. They want you to believe they're inverted or they're deficient ideas. Society loves to destroy immunity. Again, the inverted Luciferic society has always been that way. Immunity always must come or be compromised from within. Duh. Double duh. Real reality, full responsibility versus what we want it to be. Oversimplification, a vegan, I'm gay, I'm his or her and them and that, I'm the Draco spirit and the human. Compartmentalization is mental separation. Okay, so these letter groups, these insistence upon duality, upon schism, it really is mental illness. Most of the time, disputes and trauma and ideological differences are just going to feed the negative interdimensional parasites. And you must be as pure and moral as you can while also respecting your mental and bodily health needs. It's a balance, okay? You got to flip the script so you can make your own decisions about everything, ideally, if you're smart. The Christ desire is always what is best for all. So, even though these chickens are in their coop, if they're getting way fatter than they would in the wild, they're well taken care of, they're not being abused, they're free range and organic, and I'm drinking them down their baby, their placenta, unfertilized. It's a different karma than eating steak, okay, for example, or Beyond Burger, or whatever you want, as much as you want, or whatever, something like that. Okay, you got to understand the difference. Respect your animal body and respect the Christ mind within. This is what ideally the humans have to learn. Okay, you must respect that you're in an animal body, a ape frames, flesh suit, and the Christ mind is within. It's an internal heavy balance we all have to learn eventually. And so on the next segment, I've got a list of flip scripts for examples. You know what? If you learn anything from this and you're in some money, you can donate. If you scroll down, there's a button to press to donate. Send money to my mom. If you like this, give a thumbs up. If you got anything to say, to comment. And if you really like it, click subscribe and I'll send you more. And create a great one if you have the courage, my family.